Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Okay, if you're planning to get a unit at Pinery Residences this coming weekend, I'm sure you already know that Rivelle, the EC, just down the road was sold at over 92% sold on the launch day on first day, latter day, at average price of 1893 square feet. Yeah, but PSF, what does this mean for you as a concerned buyer at Pinery Residence? Yeah. So all 3 bedrooms, 3+ study, fully sold, oversubscribed on first day. Yeah. So what will happen this round for Pinery? We're most likely going to see a repeat of what just happened last year with Parktown and Aura of Tampines at Tampines, which are both located at Tampines North. So both is likewise a mixed development and an EC. Yeah. So Parktown was over 87% sold on launch weekend last year, and it's a whopping 1,133 units sold. Yeah. So what would this mean this round? Well, history is going to likely going to repeat itself. There's really a strong demand for houses in Tampines. Yeah. So most likely this weekend we're going to see this happen again. Yeah. So last year at Parktown and Oriole, the price gap was 600 PSF, the difference between EC and mixed development. So this year with Rivelle going at average of about 1,009 square PSF, most like that means if you add another 600, this is kind of the expected average price for Pinery Residence at about 2005, 2000, or even 2006 and maybe even beyond. Yeah. Yeah, so the starting farm price is at 2,340 for Pinery, but let's be realistic. It's going to be a low level 3. Yeah, level 3, either facing the main road or the upcoming BTO. So we'll take a more average price, which would be about 2005. So a price gap between 1,009 for Rivelle and 2005 for Pinery. I would say that the price gap is similar compared to Parktown and Aura of Tampines. So the response is going to be strong. It's oversubscribed. The check collection was at about 1,290 checks, I believe. Yeah, so it's more. So there's 588 units at Pinery. This is double the subscription. So the response and the demand is really strong. Yeah, people who couldn't get a unit at Parktown last year will most likely wait for Pinery to be launched. Yeah, and after Pinery, there's really no more government land sales in District 18 Tampines, in the Tampines region. Yeah. Okay. So I would think that, although you might be concerned, maybe one of your concerns, somebody will say that, the competition is very strong. Along the same road, Street 94, there is going to be an EC at my doorstep. What with buyers prefer, Rivelle, because the layout is also very efficient and the entry price for them, the selling price for them might be cheaper. It's really a very valid concern, but at the end of the day, it's really a separate development. One's EC and Pinery is a mixed development. Convenience will not depreciate. There are buyer who have a budget who is willing to pay the extra premium for the connectivity, the link to the MRT with a mall to serve their convenience right at their doorstep. Just take an elevator down. So I think there will still be a group of buyers who are willing to pay a premium. And also don't forget that the MOP is very different for Pinery and for EC. So when Pinery TOP will be around last quarter 2029, let's take it 2030. Yeah. Rivelle, on the other hand, will only MOP, because they have the resident has to serve an MOP of 5 years. It will hit the resale market in 2035. So there's actually a 5 years gap. So if you are looking at if you're an investor or you don't really intend to stay that long, maybe you'll be quite safe. I would think it's quite safe to exit before 2025. But you are looking for, this is going to be a forever home. You're going to look to stay here in Tampines in Pinery Residence for a really long time. I would think that there's still always going to be a demand, because after all, the whole of Tampines, with a direct link to MRT, with a mall at your doorstep, and good schools nearby, 1 kilometer to St. Hilda's, and even beyond that, there's still 3 other schools that are really quite good within 1 kilometer range. So I think this by itself serves as a very unique strong factors that Pinery Residence would stand out, and buyer will know that what they're buying, what they're going for. Yeah, so I hope this really addressed your concern or give you some better understanding of how Rivelle will actually help to elevate the prices. Because Rivelle at 1900 at PSF, it serves as a price floor for Pinery Residence. Yeah, okay. And next you might be thinking, okay, but what's the safe entry price to go in? I don't want to be like a clown, buy way above the market or buy at a super expensive high quantum that, it's very difficult for me to make a gain in the future resale market. Well, I buyer will come to resale flat and said, oh, very expensive, oh, so expensive. Like I don't think the price is right. But actually nothing is cheap in today's market. Yeah, in the property market is as such, COVID come and go, but the prices never really go down. Yeah. So when you say expensive, always you have to compare it with something. It's just that when we do shopping online, right? Shopee, you check with a few retailer, you compare the prices, and then you see that you decide whether, oh, is this the price is cheap, expensive, or is it reasonable? So likewise, we're going to compare with a few development, all right. And then you decide for yourself whether Pinery Residence, the price, is it good, is it safe, is it acceptable? Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, we're going to compare the two first, and then the three, and yeah. Okay, so instead of taking the entry price at 2340, I mean, come on, I think it would really only apply to the buyers at level 3. Let's assume that you are going to buy a higher floor, better facing at 2006 PSF. That's on the higher end rate, on the higher end of the price spectrum at 2006 PSF at Pinery Residence. Okay, we take the mid-size, the bigger size 2-bedroom, the D4 667 squares. Okay. Yeah, and then you are going in at the price of about 1.734 mil. Okay, so if you were to compare this with the resale, okay, the newly resale units in the market like Lentor Residence, okay, the highest transacted is already at 1.89. Yeah, and that's at Lentor. Okay, yeah, Lentor kind of mall and is also accessible to the MRT station. And then also at Amor Residence, which is at Amokyo, okay, it's going the highest transacted resale, that means in the subsale market, market, is really going close to 1.9. Look at that, 1.898888. Yeah. Yes. So this is what the resale market that's newly TOP or going to TOP is commanding for. And these are done with transaction. It's not that what the seller are asking is already done, means the deal is already sealed. Okay, and compared to new launch as well, what do we have? Okay, we have Chuan Park, Lorong Chuan, okay, 700 square feet, hitting above 2 mil, 2.034. And then Alta, that's at Clementi. Okay, it's near to 1 kilometer to a good school, but no mall and no MRT. You cannot even walk to the MRT. It's the highest transacted is already at 1.94 mil. So even if you were to compare, you buy a relatively higher more pricey unit at about 2006 PSF, is that there's a good safety gap. If you just look at the average gap between the resale and the new launch, the safety gap is easily about from 150,000 to even up to 300,000. So you decide whether this is considered Pinery at 2006, is it considered a good entry price? And next on for the 3-bedrooms as well, we'll use 2006. We use 2006 PSF range as a benchmark, and we use the highest, the biggest unit, the 3+ study. I think that's the C7, 1055 square feet. Okay, at 2006 times 1.1055, that will be 2.743 million. Okay, so once again, we compare the resale unit, newly TOP, the subsale, like Park Clementi, also once again at Clementi. Okay, the 1076 has already done, transacted at 2.818. And again, Amor Residence, all right, subsale 2.87 mil. Okay, and the new launch, Chuan Park at Lorong Chuan, again is about 3.3 At this price, you can buy Pinery Residence 4-bedder, and it's a 4+ study, not the one without the study. Yeah, premium facing, I think, at Pinery. And then at Jayden, at Jurong East, that was also a very highly sought after development on the launch day, going at about 3.1 mil, 3.182. Once again, at this price, you can buy a 4-bedroom with study at Pinery. So whether this at 2006 PSF, whether it's the same, you decide. Okay, and for the 4-bedders, people who are do have quite a lot of inquiries for 4-bedders coming to show back looking for 4-bedders. Yeah, I think this is mainly these are group of buyers who are mainly buying for their family stay. Yeah, they're here to stay for a longer horizon. Okay, with 4-bedroom, at 1227 square feet. This is the one of the bigger, the one with the longer foyer, bigger foyer. Let's say 2006 PSF, once again, is about 3.19, almost 3.2 mil. Okay, compare Jetscape. Well, that one really what earn a lot. The buyers there really earn a lot of profit. Okay, so the highest transacted in the resale market, in the really transacted, going at 3.3 mil. Okay, Jayden, a new launch. Okay, yes, bigger in size of 3.45. Charm Park 3.65. Then for that, I think you could go for a 5-bedder in Pinery. Yeah. And again, at Clementi Alta, 3.37. Yeah. So the higher quantum 4-bedroom at Pinery Residence will have about a price scale between about 100 to even up to 500,000 at compared to other resale or new launch. Yeah. So that's something for you to take away. You decide. No one can tell you whether is it cheap, whether it's expensive. Yeah, the data speak for itself. Yes. Okay. Okay. So let's say you decided to buy, okay? Then how the buyers were asking me how to sell next time? I'm already buying at such a high price in like 2000, maybe 2006 PSF. Who will buy from me next time? Will they got the money now? Will I be stuck with this property? It's really a valid concern because in Singapore, to most of us, our property is our most valuable asset. And because of all the restriction, most of us could only own one property at any time. And we have to make the property really work hard for us. It has to be really a smart and a wise, sound decision. Yeah. So yes, who buy from you? Let's say for say 10 years down the road or what? Who is going to buy from you? Well, ta-da! Okay. You don't have to look too far because surrounding Pinery Residence are all the BTO clusters. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, so along the reservoir stretch, there are already a few clusters that will MOP in 2029, which is the same year that Pinery Residence is going to hit TOP. Yes. So, and then beyond that, there are other estate that are going to TOP and finish its MOP about 2033, 34. Yes. So around Pinery Residences itself, there are already a group of HDB upgraders. Yes. And beyond, and you might think that they serve the MOP. So what? Can they afford to buy or not? Well, I would like to say that HDB prices in Tampines and in Bedok are not cheap. Yeah, Tampines people, I think, really quite rich. Look at the past transacted prices in Tampines, in Simei, and also in Bedok. Yeah, easily, smelly, also close or beyond 1 million. Yeah, so these are the group of big potential buyers that already at your doorstep. Yes. Why would they want to consider Pinery Residence? Well, once again, Pinery is one of a kind. You have the MRT right at your doorstep. Yeah, these days being near is not good enough. You have to be like above a mall and above the MRT, direct connection to the MRT. Yeah, buyers are attracted to these attributes. And don't forget the 1 kilometer to good school. Being a parent myself, and maybe you're a parent too, are you planning ahead? Well, you know that parents will do almost anything just to get our kids the best possibility into a good school, anything within our means. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So beyond that, not just the HDB upgraders, you also have those EC upgraders in the surrounding. Look at City Life, Trillion, the Arc at Tampines, the three beders, they're easily, these are profit, not their not these are profit, that means their cash profit, the amount they get to put in the bank account. About close to 1 mil at four beders, also above, there is a really close to 1 mil profit. So this group of people are the people, this is another group of people, buyers that will potentially be a buyer next round. And don't forget the nearby condos as well along Bedok Reservoir Stretch, Aquaria by the Park, Waterfront Wave, Baywater, all these condos that are with a shorter lease. People might want to progress on and to find a condo with more convenience with a fresher lease. So you do have quite a few groups of buyers around the region. Okay, and these buyers, they are not poor. They are able to earn a handsome profit from their purchase, from their sale of their current place. Yes. End of the day, it's very important to consider, when we talk exit strategy, it's not just about the price, the ROI, the numbers. Yes, as an investor, it is important. Whether are you able to generate a potential good rental yield, are you able to get a good return on investment? But it's also very important to consider: is this location, is this development something that the buyer really wants to stay, tenant wants to stay and rent in this location? What attribute does it have? Yeah, it's really important, because if you're just looking at numbers itself, the number might look good, but at the end of the day, if no one wants to live there, no tenant wants to rent, then you're stuck with a property that doesn't move. On paper value, it might look really good, like wow, good location, everything. But if there's no demand, you are really stuck with a property that you have difficulty trying to sell in the resale market. You have difficulty finding a good tenant. Yeah. So you decide whether Pinery Residence is a good property in the OCR region. Yes. And if you miss Pinery Residence, what else could you buy? This is a little bit scary, because I have buyer who came in and visit the show flat, and they said that, oh, I'm not ready. This is my first show flat. I'm not ready to make decision. Or buyers who haven't sold their current residential, so they are not in time to buy, to go ahead with Pinery Residence, even though they really like it. So they ask, what could I buy? If I miss Pinery, what could I buy? Well, let's look at the upcoming launches. Okay, we look at the land price. Okay, Pinery land price is at 1004 PSF PPR per plot ratio. That means this is the price that the developer buy from government at 1004 PSF. Looking ahead, the land sales price is really very strong. Like if you look, there's nothing lower than 1000 PSF. In the east itself, looking still close to Tampines, the closest I would highlight would be Bedok Rise at 1330. Bedok Rise is actually right next to Tanah Merah MRT. Yeah, if you're familiar with the area, there's really nothing very exciting about Tanah Merah. There's no more, it's okay. Just that even to buy a carton of milk and to buy a tray of eggs, I have to take the train or take the bus to the nearest supermarket. Don't forget, because it's right next to the MRT, there will be units that will face the MRT track. Yeah, so and at 1330 PSF per plot ratio, what do you think the PSF be like? Like maybe, I don't know, 2008 starting from? Or yeah, and beyond. So this is something to consider, like the what if you miss this, what's next in line? Yeah. So I hope this video will help you to have better clarity. And if you're going to be there on Saturday, the balloting day, All the best to you. I hope you get a good choice unit. Yeah. I hope you, any comment feedback, please let me know. My name is Irene. Thank you.